you chose that school for a reason.
Exactly. I'm like,
you had dream schools growing up.
Right. Well,
Exactly.
Stanford definitely was my dream school because I didn't really know about it living in Georgia. But then when I
Normalized secrets. Thank you.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to Sports Are Fun. I'm your host, Kelley O'Hara.
I'm the personality hire, BJ Beckwith.
I'm Greydy Diaz, aka Mid-Range Mommy.
And I'm Kassidy Cook.
And we got a fun show ahead for you guys today. A lot to go over. Before we get into what we're going to be talking about today, we got our live show in Tampa this Thursday, ahead of the Final Four, ahead of the championship. Get your tickets. Come hang with us. We're going to have us. We're going to have some fun guests. So come on out. It's going to be a great time. But thank you again to everyone for tuning in, watching on YouTube, listening wherever you get your podcast. We're going to get into NWSL. We're going to go over the US Women's National Team. We even got some Winter World Cup to talk about. But to kick things off, the biggest headlines or the biggest thing everyone's talking about in women's sports this past week is obviously March Madness. We had Sweet 16. We had half of Elite 8. So we're going to go right into that. And to start the show, we're going to jump into now This Is Madness, presented by TurboTax segment. But before we talk about all the things that happened, shall we go over people's brackets?
Are you still leading?
Obviously.
Wait, what's your percentage? Like how much?
99.3 percentile.
Of everyone?
That's
or
wild.
like
Of
just,
everybody.
Wow.
Yeah, every week I go into our group and I look at your bracket. I'm like, where did Kelley go right
I know,
all
right?
these times? It's incredible.
Actually, I'm impressed with myself. I'm
Is
like,
money on
"Oh."
the line?
No, that's the thing. I don't even
Well-
think there's any money. Of all the times, I actually chose with my head, not my heart. I was like, I'm going to take this serious. I want to win.
You were one of the last ones to
Enter
insert
it?
your
I
bracket.
know. Gotta
'Cause
wait
you were
till
like,
the end.
can you see what their brackets were?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm sure you probably could, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. We're recording on Monday. So USC versus UConn has not happened. Texas versus TCU has not happened. So my bracket's doing very well. I have Texas winning tonight, and I have UConn winning tonight.
Did you have TCU beating Notre Dame, though?
TCU, no, I had Notre Dame winning. Okay, let's.
So then,
so
yeah.
say that again?
What's going to happen tonight for you?
Texas beats TCU because I had
okay,
Texas
okay,
over
okay.
Notre Dame, and then I had UConn over USC.
Oh, you're fine.
But like I said, this is being recorded on Monday. Those games have not happened yet. So when you guys are listening, as in right now, when my voice is in your ears or on your computer screen, TV screen, whatever, the present, those games have happened. We cannot predict the future. Again, I've told you what I think is going to happen. We'll see. So just take everything we say with a grain of salt. We're going to go over all the things that have happened, but we have two people or two teams that we don't know yet are going to be in the Final Four. So we can't predict the future, but we can go over the past. And the first games team I want to review is South Carolina. They beat Maryland.
Barely.
I know. So they beat Maryland and Duke, both by 4 points. Thoughts on South Carolina's Sweet 16 and Elite 8 showing?
They, as I said last week, they've made me incredibly nervous to a
really?
point where
Because you have them winning.
I have them winning
Okay.
to a point where I have doubts right now.
Ooh, tell me more.
I just think that especially if they face a UCLA in the final, who's going to cover Lauren Betts?
Right.
They don't have that 6'7" Camila Cardoso that they had last year.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? And having that presence by the rim is super important, offensively and defensively. So I just think that they're small.
And that's their biggest weakness.
Yeah. And sometimes their bench shows up, sometimes they don't. And for me, that's a big problem.
Okay.
You need depth.
We don't think that the Dawn Staley effect can pull them through?
I mean, I think it could, but
Can't make them
I'm
taller.
very nervous.
Can't make them taller. She can't grow them.
Yeah, can't grow them.
They're going to be playing in 6-inch stilettos.
Yeah, exactly. Dawn's be like, get out there, girls. Work. This is what you need to do. I mean, I think those are really good points. And I do not have South Carolina winning. I have UConn winning the whole thing.
Okay.
So it would end up being, who do I have?
I
I have
UConn, South
UConn
Carolina.
and South Carolina in the final. So South Carolina would have to get through Texas, which means they'd have to get through Booker. I don't know.
Possible. I think it's possible.
But again, after this weekend, you have doubts.
A little bit.
We'll see.
I mean, they
Kassidy?
still won. They didn't have impressive performances,
That's
but
true.
they still won.
Yeah.
And like you said, like the Dawn Staley effect, like this is their 5th Final Four
know.
consecutive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild. I think when you have good leadership like Dawn Staley, they can take you far. But I don't know. Like you said, it's been close call these last 2 games. So
Yeah.
could be up in the air. I have South Carolina winning too.
The whole
So yeah.
Wow.
But
In
I don't
Dawn we
know.
trust, I guess.
Yeah.
exactly.
seriously, but UCLA is looking real good right now. So
They are.
Exactly.
I think
Yeah.
they're playing some of their best basketball.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so moving to that, UCLA is the overall 1 seed of this tournament. They beat LSU, who looked really good going into Sunday's matchup. They probably look the best out of the teams who have played in the Elite 8 so far. They are the number 1 or the overall number 1 seed. They took down a very hot LSU team, which was redemption for their Sweet 16 loss last year. They handled Ole Miss. So you feel like UCLA is looking the best out between South Carolina and UCLA. You think that
For
they
sure.
look, yeah.
Right now,
Yeah.
they are.
I mean, I was impressed that they were able to beat LSU because after the first couple rounds, I really thought that LSU was going to be the team that took UCLA down. Obviously, LSU was a 3 seed, but I was surprised that UCLA. I mean, I had UCLA winning, but I was nervous going into the game. But I'm glad that they did win.
UCLA shot overall better than LSU.
Right.
LSU, I think, made only 5 3-pointers. Both teams had a lot of turnovers, but I mean, UCLA they're, as I said before, they're playing some of their best basketball right now. And they're looking like that number 1 seed.
Yeah.
For sure. And isn't this the first time they've made the Final Four?
Yes.
So it's
I
like
didn't know
extra
that.
motivation.
Yeah.
Like they're probably
I know.
so fired up.
I know.
And when you have like a team with that kind of a momentum and like that excitement, I feel like they come out hot.
Right. Yeah. Being number 1 overall seed, making their first Final Four. I'm shocked that this is their first Final Four. I did not know that.
I know. When I read that stat, I was like, that can't be right.
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, me
but
too.
they're looking good. They will face, who will they face? The winner of UConn USC. And I have UConn winning. And then I have UConn beating UCLA.
Ooh.
I think that would be a cool
Because I really
outcome.
think that Paige is going to get her championship.
I do too.
Listen, Paige is not going back to Connecticut without that trophy. So after that 40 piece that Paige gave to Oklahoma, I was like, oh, she's not going back to Connecticut without a trophy.
Right.
There's
She's
just no
on-
way.
Yeah.
The way she's playing right now, she wants to end her college career with a championship
Yeah.
and
I
then
think-
go number 1 in the draft.
Yep.
I mean, what an incredible few weeks this could be.
I was about to
for
say,
Paige.
talk about a fun few weeks for her. That'd be sick.
She's going out with a bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, she definitely
100%.
is.
Well, we'll talk about UConn in 1 second, but USC, we got to talk about USC. They won their Sweet 16. They're into the Elite 8. They're playing UConn tonight. We haven't had a recording since last Monday, and obviously Juju's injury came last Monday night. Devastating, truly. Watching it in real time, I was like gasped on my couch. You never want to see an athlete go down with an injury, especially one of that magnitude. But Juju is a different kind of athlete, you know, like what she is for USC, what she is for women's basketball, college basketball, and what she is for women's sports is undeniable. So to see her go down was truly devastating. But hopefully she has the support, the care, the time she needs to get back on the court. And it was really wonderful to see her team, you know, gather around her, other athletes gather around her, and just show her that support. Especially the mini Juju on the bench.
yeah,
that
so
was
cute.
You know, they had what? I mean, was it like a bobblehead?
It was
It looked like a bobblehead.
Oh, what was it called?
Like a Funko Pop.
A Funko Pop?
Is that what those
Yeah.
are called?
Oh my
The
God,
ones with like the
cute.
really
Oh,
big
yeah, there it
eyes.
is.
And, yeah.
Wait, that's so cute. Yeah. Okay, a Funko Pop. That's like a little
Yeah, it's
collectible.
like a little figurine.
Yeah, so they had her. Some of them were holding them. Some of them had them on the little side on the sideline. So it was really wonderful to see that. Obviously, the whole team showed up to support her, or just showed up or showed their support for her. But yeah, tough, really tough to watch.
Yeah,
and
it
see.
felt like the basketball world like stopped
right
for a moment, and
know.
I couldn't watch the replays. It's just I don't like to see injuries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who likes them? Nobody.
Ugh.
But you know, just to see the way that her team responded in beating Kansas State. And I mean, they look good. They
They
good.
do look good. They do look good.
good.
When she went down, I was like, man, what's this going to do for USC's team morale? But I think when stuff like that happens, that's when a team almost is like, we've got to come together and win for this player who is such a big part of their team. And even if she's not on the court, you can tell that she impacts them.
For sure. And like you said, like they're not just playing for the championship now, they're playing for her.
For sure.
And so that just adds like a little extra motivation, I think, and adds fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
And makes it seem like it's bigger than life or bigger than just winning a championship.
100%.
And I love that they showed her, on FaceTime, in the locker room, which was really cool. And I heard that she did have a watch party at her apartment or her home.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So she's surrounded by a lot of love right now.
For sure. And she's still having a big impact on that team.
Oh, for
even though
sure.
she's not on the court.
Yeah, and she'll be back. She has 2 more years of eligibility. She'll be
Oh,
back.
for sure. It's just
Yes.
I'm so sad to not see her part of the tournament for the remainder of the tournament, and just like knowing that she won't probably be back for a while because that type of injury is really difficult and just takes time, honestly. But she will be back, like you said,
she'll
and
be back.
probably stronger and better than ever. So everybody better watch out. But that is all to say, even with or without Juju, I had UConn beating USC tonight.
That's
Just to be clear.
Just to be clear, they're, like I said, they're facing off tonight, which is last night. If you're listening today, which is whatever, it doesn't matter. But let's talk a little bit about UConn and what they have going into this matchup tonight against USC. AZ Fudd said she is coming back. She made that public that she will be returning, and then Paige officially declared for the draft, which to me is hilarious because did you guys see her Paige say, I thought I had declared already?
Right. It's like the 20th time she's declared.
I'm like, is there not like a internet portal that you have to like sign in and be like, click the box, like I'm
I
declaring?
mean, there has to be, right?
Like, what is it?
It's a college application. They're like,
Yeah.
here's your reference. Here's my essay.
Exactly.
It got lost in the mail.
Right.
Yeah, no, but I think that these two pieces of news for UConn of these individual players, to me, is best case scenario, and honestly is perfect timing that like this is being talked about publicly and the players are, officially saying it, right? Because in my mind, the team knowing and UConn knowing that AZ Fudd is coming back next year is a huge boost for morale. And then knowing, okay, everybody's kind of known this is Paige's last dance, but really now officially knowing, to me, that just spurs that team forward to be like, we've got to win this for Paige because of the level and everything she's accomplished in college basketball. To not have that national championship, like, I think she feels that, like, I need that. I bet the team feels that. So to have that be kind of out there on the line, like, we got to do this for Paige. We got to win this for Paige, obviously themselves, but it's best case scenario for UConn right now. Like, I feel like they probably have all the momentum going into this matchup tonight.
And we have another chance to see AZ because we've missed so much of her play due to her injuries. So she'll be able to have even more opportunity to develop before she gets to the pros, which I think is so great for her body, her mental, for, her being a complete player.
Yeah, it's huge for UConn. Again, like I said.
And do you think Paige
sure.
announced it and AZ announced it now to give momentum for this game against USC? Or what are we thinking?
Ooh, I mean, I think maybe, yeah. I guess like what we've been talking about is like every team so far we've discussed has another motivation for them, whether it's like, Juju being hurt, UCLA's first Final Four. This one is like, we're playing for Paige. Like she's kind of the face of women's basketball right now at the collegiate level. And to know that she's leaving, I feel like they want to make sure she goes out on like the highest note.
For sure.
And with that trophy. But yeah, so I think it could have been, strategized to be released at this time.
Yeah, right. Even though, especially because Paige is like, I thought I had already.
Exactly.
It's like, what made you think that?
It's actually not a strategy. She's just like, oh, shoot, I got to do this.
It's actually
Maybe the strategy
deadline.
didn't come from her, but it came from
No, for
somebody
sure.
in the ranks.
For sure. Lastly, we did see Notre Dame get knocked out in the Sweet 16, which came as a surprise to a lot of brackets, mine included. I don't know why I had them winning Sweet 16 because I don't love Notre Dame. Therefore, I was like, I don't know. And they were a 3 seed coming in. I think what impacted me saying that they were going to make it to the Elite Eight was them holding that number 1 spot during the season. But what I find interesting is that a lot of people were questioning them being put down as a number 3 seed for this tournament.
For sure.
Because of their success and how their season went. But I feel like them getting knocked out, the committee kind of got it right in putting them as the 3 seed. Thoughts?
I agree.
I know you love
Start of
Notre
the
Dame.
season, no, but end of the season, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a tough way to go out. I mean, just to see their collapse towards the end of the season shocked me the most.
What do you think it was? Any thoughts?
Girl, I have no idea.
Maybe like
I'd be phoning it in.
I mean,
let
they
them
have
know.
all the talent. They have all the talent, and I don't have words. I'm actually a little disappointed
Yeah.
in how they just fell apart towards the end of the season. They have an incredible coach. The past few years, they've showed us how incredible they are as a team and how they have developed and brought in great players. Olivia Miles being back. They have Hannah Hidalgo, Sonia Citron. Like, I don't know what happened.
Right.
And for me, that's the biggest question mark right now.
I mean, maybe just their conference championship performance, like in that tournament,
Put doubt in their
yeah,
mind?
exactly. Like they lost. They didn't even make it to the final game, and so maybe they just fizzled out after that, and it was hard to get that momentum and confidence back.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
that was less than a month ago.
I know.
So like when you have that number 1 seed or ranked number 1 throughout the entire season, and then you go in and you kind of mess up the conference championship game.
Right.
I think that just kind of like killed their momentum.
Yeah, it probably makes the team question like, how will we show up in pressure moments in tournament situations, right? Like, for instance, it's kind of the opposite of what we saw with UCLA. UCLA had a good season, but then they showed up in their conference championship, beat USC, and have now carried that momentum and confidence into this tournament, and it's showing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and they've had shooting struggles. They only made 3 3-pointers out of 15
Notre Dame.
in that game against TCU.
Ruh-roh.
That's very bad. And TCU just shot way better than them from the field,
Right.
from beyond the arc, free throws in every category. TCU just they were the better team in that game.
They
and
deserve to win.
This time of year, as I said a few episodes ago, hard work beats talent.
Making threes beats talent.
Making threes, great enough.
Right.
Important part of the basketball. All right, well, like we've said many times, this is Monday. You guys are gonna be listening to this on Tuesday. We're gonna have results, or you guys will have results. And like I said, I'm a UConn over USC.
I'm a UConn.
And I'm a who else is playing tonight? Texas over TCU.
Wait,
Who do you have?
I want to say TCU over Texas.
I know I do. I kind of.
Well, I
think
didn't
that,
have
but
TCU
like,
going
But this
this
is
far.
just what
No,
I.
me
Yeah,
neither.
true.
It's like a Cinderella. Is there like whoa? Are
Low-key-
they Cinderella story?
Low-key, they kind of
TCU
are
is a-
because last year they didn't have players. They were doing tryouts.
TCU?
Yes,
Oh
because
my
they didn't have enough
gosh.
players.
Oh my
wild.
God.
So
I mean, but
this
they're
is kind of the
two-seed.
Cinderella
Yeah,
story.
this is the Cinderella story. And like
Yeah.
one of the biggest upsets of the tournament was the TCU
Absolutely.
beating Notre Dame. So
But they're 2 seed.
But ain't nobody have them going this far. Be for real. Be for real, Kelley.
Everybody open your brackets up. No, wait,
And I
actually.
think it would be
Oh, no,
crazy
you're
if
right.
they beat Texas.
You're right, I
Like I
did
do
it.
think that'd be crazy.
2 Texas schools versus one another.
Ooh, yeah.
What is it? The Longhorns versus the Horned Frogs.
God, I hate that. I hate that mascot. I'm sorry.
Horned
It's so
Frogs.
bad.
Worst mascot in.
But shout out to Haley Van Lith,
Dude, I
who's
know.
been hooping. She
Yeah.
had 26
knows-
last game, and
yeah.
you know I think she's gonna be great in the WNBA. She can get a bucket
Is
by
she-
any means.
She's declaring, or does she have another year of eligibility? I feel like she's been in college forever.
No, I think isn't it like her 5th year? She's been in college for a long time. She's like
She transferred over from LSU too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, LSU,
Yeah.
Louisville, and TCU.
Haley Daw, this your last dance. Let's go.
Yeah. She's been
Head to
like
the lead.
pivotal
Playing
for
like
this
it.
and
Yeah,
she's
I mean-
been to the tournament every single time.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
5 times is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
5-time
3 different
tournament
teams.
appearance.
Yeah.
Like-
wow. This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Nothing is more important to me than having great teammates, just like I do here on Sports Are Fun. This tax season, you can find the perfect teammate when you get matched with a TurboTax expert who will help make sure you get the most out of your taxes this season. They'll do your taxes from start to finish, so you'll get the most money back guaranteed, and you'll have more time to watch women's sports and yap about them. Now this is taxes. Match with an expert now on TurboTax.com. Experts only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Okay, we're gonna go into headlines now. College basketball certainly took center stage this weekend, but we've got other things to talk about. NWSL had their third weekend, brought another solid slate of games, and the top of the table got some more wins. Pride and the Current are undefeated, but so is Angel City FC. Which I was looking at the table today. I was like, oh, wow, they're actually undefeated. They're the only 3 teams. Pride and Current haven't dropped any points. Angel City has 2 ties and a win, but still undefeated. You can claim that. But speaking of the Current, they continue to be led by the efforts of Temwa Chewinga, who tied her own NWSL record of most consecutive games with a goal after scoring for the 8th straight game.
I don't think last season and this season should
I
carry over.
agree. Okay, so this is to paint the picture. Temwa scored in 8 consecutive games last season during the season.
That counts.
That counts. She then had a couple games where she didn't score, and then what is that? When did she? The next to the 7, BJ. What does that say?
She had 7 games straight from September 20th, 2024 to present.
Okay, so she then, starting September 2024, last season, started scoring, and she's been scoring ever since in every single game. But in my opinion, you cannot carry over a consecutive games scoring streak over an off season.
Absolutely not.
Take it back, NWSL.
Hate it. No.
Not taking away from what she's doing.
No.
But this
Different
is different.
season.
You gotta consecutive has to happen in a season.
That's like carrying over
agree.
your stats
Yeah.
from last season. Like saying she's the golden boot leader because she had goals from like, okay. Restart, refresh.
Yeah. No, so I do think that she's starting off the season extremely strong, starting off where she left off from the 2024 season. She is probably the front runner for MVP again, obviously Golden Boot as well, but she's got to keep this consecutive streak going starting 2025.
Correct.
I would
And
agree.
then we'll give her flowers when she beats last season's consecutive game streak.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wow,
Wait, but
I
before
was
we move
curious.
on
I
now-
thought I wasn't sure people would agree with me.
No.
I mean, I think that's a valid argument. Like they do that
Right?
for football. Like it's like rushing yards this season.
Right.
But maybe like they could do all time. But I feel like every season's like a fresh start. Like it's a reset.
I know. I'm like, it feels like a baseball stat to me. You know how baseball stats
Yeah.
are like, he's pitched 3 strikes in wearing white while the sun's shining. Like those are the type of
They have a
stats baseball
stat
does.
for anything.
Right,
Like
in
literally
baseball.
anything. They'll just like make anything up. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it was raining and there was 400 fans.
Yes, exactly. Like, and he hit the ball.
Exactly. Like there's a
Twice.
record for everything. I probably hold a record in the MLB, honestly.
Attended 1 game for Team USA year.
Exactly. I did do a first pitch at a Minnesota.
that's
yeah.
so cool.
And it was a strike, baby.
Oh, let's
There we
go.
go. There's my record.
Okay, yeah, threw a strike.
Wait, that's awesome.
First diver to throw a strike.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Probably hold that.
There was a stat though that Current did have that I thought was cool.
Okay,
so
let's hear it.
between last game and this game, Chewinga scored, and then it was Michelle Cooper and Davinia, same order, both games in the first half.
Oh, that's
wow.
a baseball
That's cool.
stat.
That's cool.
I
That was
like
a good
that.
stat.
That's a really good stat.
Same order, same first half, everything. So I thought that was cool.
Do you think that they now going into this game are going to be like, all right, this is how we have to line it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, ooh, I have an open shot, but
Yeah.
like Chewinga's got to score
Exactly.
first.
Exactly.
Ugh.
She's got to take it first.
It's going to be embarrassing for us.
All right. Well, I'm really glad that we all agree on that. Sorry, Temwa. I'm sure that you can get that consecutive streak back this season, but you don't hold it right now. Or you didn't break your own record, which is like hilarious.
Right, you already have the record anyway.
she still
You're
holds the
fine.
record.
Yeah, you still hold the record. But we think that you can beat it again. You just have to do it in this season. NWSL will be off this weekend, but never fear. U.S. Women's National Team will be playing 2 games against Brazil on Saturday and Tuesday coming up. This is the Olympic gold medal rematch. We get Trinity Rodman back, which will be very exciting. She hasn't been back since that game, which is so crazy to be like, hasn't played with the team since the Olympic gold medal match. Was against Brazil. Now she's showing up again to play Brazil for the first time in like, 8 months?
Which, it went by really fast, but also like, it didn't.
I know. I was shocked when I read that she hasn't been back since the Olympic gold medal match.
Like I was like, oh, it's been a while, but then I was like, it really hasn't.
My thoughts on this are I'm very interested to see just the continuation from She Believes of like hopefully Emma's research and development year in her roster and her players. I think that I would have liked to see Giselle Thompson get called back in.
Isn't she called into a U23 thing, though?
Is she?
I think so.
Well, I would have preferred to see her here.
Okay.
Because right now I'm kind of like, we're light on outside backs. I think that's a position that needs to be developed and focused on. Maybe Emma thought that she would have more playing time going into a 23 camp, but I would like to see her with the full team and against Brazil.
Looking at the roster, there's like a couple different camps that are like here. We have like the comeback kids of Alana Cook and Ashley Hatch. We have the people who were turned away to like go redevelop, like the Jenna Niswangers, the Emma Sears, who maybe weren't ready. We have like the new kids still who are still getting tested, like the Michelle Coopers, the Ali Sitnors, and you have your mainstays, the Crystal Dunns, the Jaden Shaws.
I like that. Wow.
Thank you.
Did you call Emma?
Maybe I should just call Emma out.
Did she
Or
text
she
you
should call
that?
me.
No, I think
go
that's
ahead.
I think that's a really accurate description of this roster.
What should the expectations be from this team in these two friendlies?
Okay, I saw this quote. This is from Emma. This is a quote that's on Instagram. USWNT actually put it up. I think it's going to be a hard camp with 2 really tough games. I know for sure I'm going to be really tough, and I'm looking forward to how the team reacts. 1, after a loss, but 2, to things I want to see from the team that I absolutely am not going to compromise on. So I was like, dang, strong words from the manager, which I like that. And her saying how the team reacts, right? They're coming into this camp off of a loss. And what's interesting when you have, especially with the national team, when you play in a camp or a tournament and you lose the last match of that camp or tournament, you don't have time to regroup, to go over, to assess. So they're going to be doing that unless they had individual or team meetings between She Believes and now in like a remote setting. They're going to be going over that Japan loss that happened at the end of She Believes. So I really like that she's like, this is going to be hard and I'm going to be tough on them. And it sounds like she's bringing the heat in all aspects of like expectation and also just how they respond from what happened at the end of last camp.
And question for you specifically, because like when you let's say you lost the last national team game and then you go back to club.
Right.
Are you still coming back to the next national team game thinking about that last loss? Like you've had so much time in between.
Yes and no. Like you obviously have played in your club games, that sort of thing, but it's weird when you play club and national team because you leave one environment and you go into the other. And so like coming into this camp, they're like, we're coming off a loss and we're about to play a team that was in the Olympic, that we played against in the Olympics for the gold medal,
with you.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that we're going to see some interesting things. I hope that Emma stands on what she said during She Believes of like, I'm going to test players. And I think one of those positions that we're going to see tested is the center back position. Alana Cook, like you said, got called back in. Tara Mekione is back in again after She Believes. I want to see these players in that position because I think right now it looks like midfield is kind of set. She's bringing in consistent players.
Mm-hmm.
Forwards and defenders
Kind of
are
set-ish. Forwards I feel like are kind of set.
I mean,
'Cause you
a
have
little
your 3,
bit.
triple espresso.
Right.
Like no matter what, if they're all healthy, you're bringing them.
True.
And then you kind of have your Katarina Macario, your I'm trying to think, Ali Sentnor, your Yasmin, who have been consistently called up.
Lynn's not in because
Lynn's not
I think
in.
she's injured. She hasn't been playing for Seattle. So, but I think midfield feels very set.
Mm-hmm.
Forwards, I think you have a little bit of space for up for grabs. I think defenders is the position that is like go in, make an impact, show them what you can do. Because I think that with Gurma out, Davidson obviously is going to be out, unfortunately, after sustaining an injury with Gotham. And then a Jenna and a Giselle not getting called back in. Like there's space and room to go make an impact and try for a spot.
Yeah, I think coach is doing the right thing on standing on business. And, you said this many episodes ago that you learn more from when you lose.
Right.
What are your predictions for these
Games?
friendlies?
I don't know how Brazil's going to show up. Obviously, Japan was, a lot of their players were mid-season in the fact that they play in Europe. So I think it's going to be really good games. I'm like curious to see how this team handles 2 more one very hard opponent in 2 games. And I'll be interested to see if there's much change from game to game.
I mean, if you're Emma though, and speaking on the outside back, are you just going to be like, all right, we have Crystal and Emily Fox, just throw them in?
So no, that's the thing with the outside back position. Crystal and Emily Fox both are like shoo-ins, right? Like they hold those spots. They are the most experienced. They are the best in those two positions. And Emma knows that. She knows what she's going to get from them. That's why I'm like, I want to see a Giselle.
But
I want to see
for this opponent, are you going to be like, we're playing to win?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're starting.
Oh, okay.
Probably both games,
Like,
depending
do you
on
think
loading.
it's going to be, we're playing to win, we're not experimenting as much? Or are we still experimenting? And if we lose, it's okay?
I think why Emma said what she did in that quote of being like, things I want to, like, that I'm absolutely not going to compromise on. I think the absolutely not going to compromise on is the winning. Like, I think she's like, I might not be putting the most experienced players out there. Like, I'm going to be testing players, but I expect you to win because that's what the U.S. Women's National Team does.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think they're going to do with Trinity since this is like her first game back? Like,
right.
Are they going to start her? Are they going to play her? Like what?
Emma
like when you're
also-
missing out, I
Yeah.
feel like that could also make players angry. Like she hasn't been here.
right. No, it is
But-
tough. It's like a delicate dance when you have players who are, like you said, if they're healthy, they're there.
Yeah.
Triple espresso. Trinity's coming off of an injury and is like working back in. So I think that is going to contribute to her playing time. Emma even made a comment about that publicly. So I think it will all depend on them managing her loading.
Yeah, making sure that they're not like pushing her too much.
For sure. But incorporating her back in the team, getting her back with the group and out on the field and in that jersey and wearing that crest because we love to see it for her.
With her pink hair.
Exactly. She looked good. Another.
And wait, before we move on, I do want to give a shout. Mia Official is back as a training player.
Oh, amazing. I didn't
very
see that.
Yeah, so first one.
Who else is training
I saw a goalie, but I just saw Mia Official because they were like first one back from the ACL.
Wow, that's great for her.
And a couple minutes with Chelsea so far.
Oh, that's really great.
Yeah, so
great to
exciting.
hear. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, moving from one set of champs, U.S. Women's National, to another, the New York Liberty. It got announced on social media this past week that the WNBA champions, New York Liberty, just announced their plans for an $80 million facility opening in Greenpoint in Brooklyn in 2027.
And before we even get into it, I want to talk about the video. I was dizzy.
Were you?
I was so dizzy. I was nauseous. So like we're spinning through the streets of New York. I'm literally like at my phone, like I'm like, what the hell?
Was this before or after a night out?
This was like a Tuesday.
So yes,
Yeah, exactly.
So what I love about this is that it was designed by players. So they got actual input from current players of the Liberty.
Smart.
And it's for the players.
Yeah.
And I mean, all the details that they put into this, I thought were spectacular. And what stood out to me the most was their pods. So like their lockers have like these little suites where they have day beds, vanities.
God.
They could put their wardrobe in there. And I'm just like, what is this?
It's
I haven't
giving
seen
elite.
that. No, it is
Amazing.
elite. I mean, when you have billionaires as owners, anything's possible. And they really are putting their money where their mouth is.
100%.
$80 million is incredible. We've seen what, Vegas did. We've seen what Seattle did. We see what Portland's doing. Listen, every team is going to have their own
100%.
dedicated facility.
As they should.
for sure. I mean, that's what like player investment should look like.
Yes.
And if you want to attract the top talent, you got to have stuff like this.
Completely agree.
Like this is going to help them attract top talent. It's also going to like enhance the player's performance. Like I think it's necessary.
Yeah, for a long time, players leaving college would go from amazing facilities to not even subpar. Like, I don't even know how to describe.
I mean, they would go from private jets to commercial.
Yeah,
in the
not
WNBA.
even like that.
Not anymore,
Like
but-
I went from Stanford had really nice facilities, and then I went to at Sky Blue. I was doing my own laundry. Like that's what it was.
Like washing your own uniform.
yes,
That's
as in like
crazy.
doing my own laundry, like my training kit. Yes, I was doing my personal laundry as well. But no, this is absolutely the expectation now for all teams across the board. Like this is what professional sports should look like, does look like, and I love this for the Liberty, and I am curious if I can sign a deal. If I can just be a practice player.
Can
I'll
I just
shag balls.
use the facilities?
Yeah.
Like
No,
hair,
truly.
nails, makeup?
Yeah, no, like whatever you guys need. I just want to go check it out.
And it also made me think about the teams that did invest a little early on, like the Washington Mystics. They've had their own training facility, but it's not like these $80 million ones that we're seeing now.
Yeah.
So it's like at some point, when are they going to have to revisit? Because
yeah.
players, I'm sorry, if I'm a player, I want to be at one of the newest spots, one of the nicest spots that has all the amenities.
100%.
You know, we're talking 5-star. Mystics might now be like 3-star now. So
sure.
it's just, I mean, you have to keep up.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, that's how
definitely.
you're going to make your players feel valued, is giving them resources like this and showing that that they're appreciated and that you're willing to invest in them.
For sure. When I left Sky Blue after 5 years of doing my own training and training laundry, to go to Utah. And Utah was a brand new team, and they had dedicated space and facilities for their women's team. And that was a big reason why. I was like, I want to wake up and I want to walk into work and I want to feel like a professional. And having, Utah's facility is not to this caliber, or wasn't to this caliber. I think that they're building something now. But this is what professionals should walk into every day. That's how, you want to create a space where the reality is, as a professional athlete, you're 24/7 on the clock. That is the expectation for you as the athlete. So you want a space that you can be in 24/7, feel comfortable, have all of your needs met, so that you can go perform and be the asset for the club that they expect you to be.
100%. And they have this on the men's side. So why is it taking so long for the women's side to get it?
I mean, at this point, if I'm an NBA player,
Yeah,
I'm like, we need to redo this. We need a new facility because the ladies really got the best stuff right now.
Well,
They're taking notes now.
About damn time. All right, well, closing our headlines with a little bit more basketball, which I kind of wanted to touch on. We kind of got into it a little bit, maybe not really, in the deep dive, but women's basketball transfer portal is very much so alive and heating up. And we've seen some big names, including Tanaya Latson from FSU and Cody McMahon from Ohio State, enter the portal in the past week. Obviously, none of us experienced the transfer portal, but I'm curious what everyone's group thoughts are on this transfer portal.
I mean, every year it gets crazier and crazier,
Chaos.
but there's money to be made now. So players not only want to, win a championship, but they're trying to make money, as they should. So listen, go where the money's at. And who, as a coach, who am I to say, you know what, they're offering you $500,000? I don't got it.
Yeah.
Go make the bread.
I don't know. I kind of hate it.
They're the pros now.
Same.
No, I know. That's the thing. This is now, it's become professional sports. And I'm like, if we had this, first of all, in college, if we transferred, we had to sit out a season.
Right.
I'm like, now these kids transfer, get $500,000 and get to play.
And play 5 years.
Like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, they really hated us back then. Like,
No, they really did.
They did. No, unlike the restraints, the constraint.
Like actually.
Yeah.
But I think it puts more pressure, when all this money and it becomes like a professional league, essentially. I feel like it puts a lot more pressure. Like, if I had that kind of pressure as a college student, now I have to factor in agents and more conversations about money and contracts on top of being a student athlete and writing essays. I feel like it's a lot. And I mean, personally, I think it would stress me out.
Yeah.
Because when you start making money, all you can think about is oh, well, what if I could be making more? How can I make more? But you have to remember, some of these people are still teenagers, 19, 20 years old, and they're making these big decisions, and at the same time having to write essays.
I know.
I think it's crazy amount of stress and pressure to put on young kids, but also it would have been awesome to have that opportunity to make money in college sports. So
would you, if you were offered, or if you knew that you could go make $250,000, $500K to transfer, would you do it?
Girl, diving?
Yeah.
That kind of money does not exist in diving. Let's be honest.
I'm
so
saying,
yes, I would. Yes, I would.
You would
because
have.
I would be.
You'd be out.
Ooh,
by
out of
Stanford.
Stanford? No, I don't know.
See,
That's tough. I feel
I
had when I picked a college, back in our day, you also had an allegiance to your school.
For
almost.
sure. That's what I'm saying.
You were playing for your school and playing because you love the sport. Now it's kind of becoming where you're playing where you can get the most money. So I don't think there's as much of a sense of allegiance to your school or school pride.
Yeah. Well, I will say, Audi Crooks, Iowa State, she said the grass is greener where you water it. So quit asking. Because people were asking, are you going to enter the transfer portal? And she was like, I'm staying. And I love that because I feel like I would have done the same thing. I feel like if I would have been offered, or if I was operating in this day and age and had the opportunity to go make a ton of money, I think that my heart would still win out over my head.
But do you think in some of these scenarios, schools are like, we have a little bit more bread for you if you stay. Like maybe a renegotiation of your contract.
Use it as some leverage.
Yeah, for sure.
That's crazy to me. I still haven't adjusted to the fact that that's a thing in college now, just because that was so frowned, like it was illegal.
Yeah.
Like, compliance. Like you couldn't do that. So like I
go to
gotta
jail.
get my head around
I
that
can't even
college
take
athletes
this-
are getting paid.
Yeah,
Like
like-
that NIL is a thing.
Yeah, like somebody can't buy me breakfast. Like that's like illegal.
I know, like they're like, we can buy you a bagel, but we can't buy you a bagel with cream cheese because that's a meal.
Right.
So like they were like, we can get you the bagels. You have to buy your own cream cheese because if we get the little tablespoon of cream cheese that costs 25 cents, that counts as a meal, and that goes against compliance.
Yes, exactly.
And as you mentioned, Tanaya, she is the leading scorer in the NCAA with 25 points a game. What's her worth? How much is she asking for?
True.
You know what I mean? I wonder what these numbers are, because I've heard some numbers on the men's side, which are
oh yeah,
wow for seven points a game, or wow for 16 points a game.
Right.
For a team that isn't even one of the biggest schools. So
Right.
I just wonder on the women's side, what are those numbers? Like,
know.
I feel like we need a little bit more transparency.
for sure. And I don't knock them, like get your bag for sure. But I put myself in their shoes and I'm like, I don't think I could do it. I feel like
Well, you chose that school for a reason.
Exactly. I'm like,
you had
I've-
dream schools growing up.
right. Well,
Exactly.
Stanford definitely wasn't my dream school because I didn't really know about it living in Georgia. But then when I found
Normalize
out,
secrets. Thank you.
but no, I also, what I find interesting about this is that the timing for
It's shady. The season's
I'm like,
not
guys,
even
what
over.
are we doing? Why are
They're
you
still playing.
Yeah, why are
season's
we
not
opening
over.
this portal in the middle of the tournaments?
It's
It's
weird.
wild. Like imagine prepping to play in a game, but then you're also thinking about my teammates in a transfer portal,
Yeah.
or like, should I be in there? Like you have so many things going on. I feel like they should be focusing on the tournament, and then this should happen after.
100%.
Or like
I'm
5 seconds after a game, finding out that the player entered the transfer portal. I'm just like,
oh, right.
This is
Yeah,
so
like they get
weird.
knocked out and they're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm out.
Exactly.
This feels like the coin flip situation. I'm like, surely we didn't think this through all the way.
need to
We
put
probably
a-
had to
right,
have
There
one
should be
more
like a
meeting.
window, like a week of it. You know, like
yeah, after the championship game.
Yeah, you couldn't have waited
a few
a
weeks.
week.
a week and
You're
a half.
having that bad of time. You got to go.
I don't know, man. But
Literally.
I
And
will
it also, I feel like it's unfair for the teams that are still playing, because a player might sign with the team, but we don't know what the teams look like for next season that are still playing.
Oh, good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of who's staying from those teams or
Right.
who's leaving.
Right.
So it's not really fair for the teams that are still participating in the tournament.
No, but
in my opinion.
But you can, if you're still participating, can you not say if you're leaving or not? Is that what it is?
It would be weird. Wouldn't it be weird to announce if I'm on South Carolina and I
Right.
say, "Oh, I'm leaving, but I'm still playing"?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, like at the fact that this is open during the tournament.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be
They
smart.
love the drama.
Right. Yeah.
The transfer portal loves
Oh
the
my
drama.
goodness.
Hypothetical. Like let's say we're UConn. We're on the UConn team.
Okay.
And then Tania Latson is like trying to sign, and Gino comes up to us and like, oh, we're gonna sign Gino Latson next year. What if your big stars are like, no? Like, do they have any say?
I have no idea.
No,
That's a
see, at
great
the collegiate
question.
level, that's hard to say. Like
Yeah.
obviously, when you're a pro, you would think that like your star players have leverage, but like
Right.
back
'Cause
in
here,
back in
yeah.
like our day, I don't think that we had that much leverage at all. So, but now that it is kind of like more professional sports,
Right.
maybe they do.
I
don't
also
know.
am like, who's making the decisions for this? Is it a Gino that chooses, I want this this player's in the portal, I want to try to bring them to UConn? Or is there somebody higher than him that determines that?
I mean, I think it's his team. I think he has,
Right.
unless there's a GM,
Right,
And
like
some
he
teams
is-
now
Yeah.
have GMs. So,
Yeah.
but I
Andrew
think
Luck.
that it's his decision.
exactly.
That's his team.
No, I know.
He
But I'm
built
just
UConn.
like, that just seems,
But what if
Yeah, it's
say
like-
AZ Fudd's like, no, I'm leaving if that happens.
that's, might be.
Like,
I don't know, man. Weird.
But next year
Goofy.
they're going to need another scorer in losing Paige, so it might be a good little
Yeah,
situation.
maybe the players who are still in the tournament are like looking at the who's in the portal.
And
look how far
Latson,
we
she's a walking bucket. She has incredible speed. I mean, she's a complete player. Any team would be lucky to have her.
Speaking of somebody who stayed loyal, never even thought about entering a transfer portal, Paige Beckers buying 1,500 tickets to her last game at UConn. This was blowing up in our group chat. It's group chat time. I loved this. I was like, she can't do anything wrong. Like, she does everything right. Like, this was such a great move by her. And for it to be her last game, like obviously you're gonna want that section or the arena filled with students. And to give a little context, the student tickets had always been free, I think even for tournament time, and they started charging them this year. So Paige was like, I think she partnered with some people and was like, I'm gonna go get 1,500 tickets for students for free, get them in the arena. And I just love that from her. Yeah.
Well, go Paige.
Yeah,
I like her. I want to be her friend. She seems so cool.
Yeah. She's
like
beloved.
she has so much swag.
She really is.
She really does.
All right. Well, moving on from someone who never misses, go Paige, to something that made us scratch our head and say this was a miss. BJ, quite literally.
Let me paint the scene.
Okay, please do. You just
Guys,
gasped.
I gasped. I like how you're like, just moving on to someone who does miss.
Not you.
I'm like, oh. Let me paint the scene.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's a Wednesday.
Walk us through it. Okay.
I'm exhausted. I'm at work. I'm in the office. I go out for a coffee. I see a Subway ad and it's ratty. It's disgusting. It's a Angel City ad. I'm sick. In Gotham territory.
Did you have to take a moment?
I gasped. I literally was like, and everyone was around me, dog walkers, children. They're thinking I'm getting mugged or something. We are in New York. They turn and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Whip out my phone so quick before the ad goes away. Snap that, send it to the group chat.
Could not believe it, actually.
Couldn't believe it. I was in disarray, clearly.
Like
Bold
who
move.
approved this? Clearly money needs to be made and they paid some money for this. But who in New York City approved of this?
I don't know. Who's the Subway ad person? What's their number?
Call them, Kelley. Call them.
Look it up.
Oh.
That's bold. And also look up some LA billboards.
Yeah.
I think you got to clap back and
you
get
got to
an LA
go way
billboard.
bigger in LA.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Put it on the freeway,
No,
all of that.
100%.
Go crazy.
Gotham,
That's how you clap back.
No, Gotham needs a billboard on Sunset.
There's an
100%,
MTA
absolutely,
advertising policy.
Okay, what is it?
No, that's like a group.
I was like, read the policy.
Oh, should I read out the person's name? No.
No.
Actually, spam them.
No, but you are gonna have to send them a little
There's a phone
note.
number. Should I call?
I think you should call after this,
Okay.
and just let us know what you get, what kind of response you get.
It's going to be a hatred one.
Yeah, you're probably just gonna have to leave a voicemail, but you should still do it.
Yeah, it'll start off with, you should be ashamed and how dare you.
And they should also do one near where Angel City plays. I think that would be a nice little.
Oh, for sure, just like right outside.
yeah.
Like, do you think
Yeah.
the Gotham players are in New York being like, what?
They are definitely in New York. I don't know, because thankfully this is digital, so it's like changing, and you did unfortunately run into it at just the right or
No, it's been
wrong
calling me. I've been
moment.
seeing it every day.
Oh, it has.
Wow.
Okay.
It's been like
It
whispering in my ear.
knows.
Like,
It's on your schedule.
yeah. Maybe.
NWSL has been doing some big billboards in Times Square.
I have, but that's like an NWSL. Like, it's like
That's
the whole
true.
league. It's like counting down to the
That's
games.
allowed.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I'll allow
this
it.
is strictly Angel City, but also it's like a Los Angeles. Is it like Los Angeles tourism board? Like, what is this?
Yeah, it's like
It's
got
not a
like
good
the
ad.
Hollywood sign in the background.
Yeah.
Like we
You're
love
in New
LA.
York. Like, well, you don't need to go to LA. Why are we? What are we
Yeah,
doing?
it's not even a good ad, dare some say.
It's like it's actually a confusing ad.
Right.
Do better.
Yeah, actually it sucks.
Oh my god. Okay, to round out our group chat segment, we gotta keep our radar and our tabs on Trinity Rodman and Ben Shelton. Trinity hard launched her and Ben.
But
and
she was
her.
still mysterious. The face was hidden.
I know.
was
I
like,
love it.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
the softest hard launch or like mysterious, whatever. It was kind of similar. Yeah, look at that. Oh, look at that.
So
It's
cute.
cute. It's
So
really
cute.
cute.
Dibs. I love it.
I love.
So cute. Yeah, he showed up to our game in DC this past weekend. They're adorable. We love it. Look at that.
Oh, so cute.
We're not missing that face in that picture.
I know, they really exposed her.
Yeah, I know. This is
Guys,
like, who
she
took
is-
this picture?
NWSL, she is on a hard or
Yeah.
a soft launch.
Yeah,
Don't rush her.
Oh my gosh. All right, last segment of the day. Sports are fun. And this is a really fun one that I'm very excited to talk about because just a reminder, sports are fun at all ages. And that couldn't have been more true than watching Lindsey Vonn come out of a 5-year retirement and podium in the Super G at the World Cup in Sun Valley this past week. She's the oldest woman to ever podium at a World Cup, and she's got her eyes set on 2026 Olympic roster. Not to be overly sentimental, but truly this is so inspiring because she had to leave skiing because of injury and because of her body and her knees. She got a partial knee replacement ahead of making her return. So for me, as somebody who also had to kind of retire based on, did retire based on, or a lot of reasons, but mostly physical, it's inspiring to see somebody be like, you know what, I'm gonna go and chase my dreams again. And while I'm like worried about her knees, I'm like so happy for her and proud of her. And she seems like she's doing amazing. And it's just like, you can see how much joy she gets from skiing. And so for her to be able to do that again, to have been able to have the surgery she needed to have, the recovery, to be back on mountain and winning, or at least podiuming. What do you call that?
Placing.
Thank you. Is awesome. And like the comeback for 2026 Olympics, incredible.
I'm pumped about it. It's queen behavior.
Yeah.
Like, she's not just chasing medals, she's rewriting what longevity looks like in women's sports.
For sure.
Coming back, I think it's so inspiring. Like you said, like I feel like when your physical health isn't as good and that's the reason you retire and you're not mentally ready, like you still love the sport, you still have so much to give. Sometimes taking that time to let your body heal makes you realize that, hey, I can still do this. So I think it's super inspiring to see her come back. I'm going to be tuning in. I love her.
Yeah.
I just love the way she's pushing herself. And I mean, she's incredible. She's been an incredible athlete for a very long time. And clearly she still has a love for it. And to see her, pursue another goal, I think is just, I mean, how can you not root for her?
Right.
Yeah. And then second place after 5 years off. Like,
I know.
It's not just like her coming back. Like she medaled.
I know.
So, I mean, that's really impressive.
And it was second place and she was, I think, 1.29 seconds behind. Like,
Yeah.
So like it's
quick.
close.
So basically
Very
first.
Very close.
No, it's truly inspiring and incredible, and it's giving me a lot of hope to like what I can have in the future potentially. I won't be coming back.
Kelly's
I was gonna
back,
ask you to come back.
You heard it here first. Kelly's
no.
back.
She's dropping hints.
No.
Lace up the boots.
Oh, no. I mean, I would love to, but no. Other amazing sports are fun. Little topic we have is Alex Morgan, or Alex Carrasco, welcomed her baby boy into the world, Enzo Carrasco.
Her second child.
Charlie, her first, is a big sister now.
So
and
adorable.
little Enzo is with us. Mom and baby are doing well. Look at the little feet.
Oh my gosh. I love that name for a baby. Enzo.
Enzo.
Yeah, very
cute.
cute name.
I
So cute.
I know. So happy for them. I can't wait to meet him.
Auntie Kelly.
It's just like, yeah. I got Servando text me, and it was a picture of Enzo. And he was like, I can't wait to meet you, Tia Kelly. And it was just so cute. Yeah. It was so cute.
Uh-oh, are you getting baby fever?
I mean, okay, moving on. Cassidy. All right, that's a wrap on Sports Are Fun. We have a huge week of sports ahead of us this week. We'll be in Tampa for the Final Four. Our live show is April 3rd. Come out, join us. It's going to be fun. We're going to have amazing guests. Semifinals on Friday. Finals on Sunday. We got U.S. Women's National Team on Saturday.
Which Kelly and I will both be there.
No, you'll be in LA.
Oh.
I'll be in San Jose.
We'll be there separately, but come find
You'll
us.
be in San Jose, so come find us. And let us know, what you want us to talk about here. Drop a comment, hit the like, hit the follow, subscribe, all those things. Thank you for joining us for another week. We will talk to you guys from the live show, actually. Yep. So see y'all there.